Welcome everybody to another episode of Solo Spotlight. I'm here with arguably someone who has been very influential in the music scene in Edmonton. A lot of people think they finish his songs, but this is someone who actually puts like the final finishing touches on music. Engineer and producer up in Arm Studio. Seriously, Taylor, how you doing, man?
I'm good.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good, man. I've been interviewing a lot of people that you've worked with their albums and their singles and stuff like that, and you've been one of these guys that a lot of people are like, you got to interview this dude. You got to interview this dude. So I'm really happy to be able to sit down and talk to you today. Talk about kind of the behind the scenes of the music industry and kind of what people can take away from what it's like to work with a producer or work in a professional studio. To get started though, for people to get to know you, if you're meeting someone for the first time, how would you introduce yourself?
Oh, that's a big question because I feel like people. Oh, okay, it's gonna sound bad if I say I think people know me, but if someone didn't know me, I would just be like, I make music.
Right.
And then if someone asked me like, what do you do? Because it's
like a loaded question.
No, not even like in the sense that if you tell someone, oh, I make music, they're either like they look down on it.
Yeah.
Instantly, like you don't even have to give them context, and they're instantly like. And then I'd be like, no, I'm an engineer, not an artist. And then it's like, oh, okay, that's different.
Yeah.
And then, but really, I just make music.
Yeah.
That's all I do. I'm just an engineer. I tell people, like older people that don't really get my job, like the most simple way of telling people is I make people sound good. That's my job.
Yeah, it's like you're kind of putting you're like the editor to someone who's doing like a podcast.
Yeah.
Like you're kind of putting like the fine tuning on it, stuff like that. That's really interesting, and it's a really interesting way to put it because I think like the blank term of like I make music, it almost gets like frowned upon where people go like, oh, all right, like okay. But it's weird because like that's still like a form of doing something in creative, but it often gets frowned upon. It's very weird how people see it. But no, that's very interesting that you just say I make music.
Because I think most people that come to me probably like have an idea of what I do, but if someone that had no idea who I am, I'd be like, I'm Taylor, I just make music.
And how long have you been doing this for?
I would say 5-6 years.
Okay.
5-6, I think. I started when I was 17, 18. I'm 23 now, so yeah, 6 years.
So what did that journey look like for you when you look at like getting to where you're at now and like the root of it and like what kind of inspired that?
Honestly, just working hard and knowing your value, knowing like I think the music is such a like as a career path, it is like the biggest roller coaster ever because like if someone told me when I was like 18 getting into this and being like, oh yeah, this is everything that's gonna happen to you in this way, I'd be like probably not. Because it's like so many different things that happen to get here. Like I look at starting music and I'm like, even what I did, like I dropped out of high school to pursue music.
Right.
And then I look at that and I'm like, wow, I'm a dumbass. Like, why did I do that? That was like, I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's exactly the way that this is now. It could have been the exact opposite.
Yeah, like you're putting all your chips in.
It was, all in one basket, and I was like doubling down, tripling down.
How did that feel like?
At the time, your hindsight's 2020, so you're looking at it now, and I'm like, wow, I would have probably done a lot different, but...
Was that just because you didn't have the time, or like the investment in the skill, or like what drove you to not like wait?
Well, I hated high school. I hated high school with a passion because I grew up really poor.
Right.
So the neighborhood I came from, a lot of kids would actually sell drugs to like just provide for their family, help out and stuff like that. And then I'd go to high school where there's a lot of kids that you see doing that I was like, I don't align with anyone here at all in any way. I know what I want to be, and I feel like in high school a lot of people are trying to find themselves, figure themselves out, and stuff like that. I was like, nah, I want to make music. I already know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Fuck this.
Yeah.
I'm out of here. So every day at lunch, my mom would give me bus pass money, but I just saved it because I would buy plugins to mix music.
Right.
But she didn't know that, obviously.
Right.
So she would take her lunch break and like from work, and it would align perfect because she would go home and then I would walk home from school in high school to go home and make beats. So when her lunch break was done, I was like getting home, but one day I got caught. I got ripped apart.
Yeah.
And then I dropped out like a week later.
Yeah.
Because I was like, man, I don't even care about getting in trouble. I'm just going to do this.
Now, in your like learning phase of learning all this, what was like a piece of equipment that you had to buy like right away, or like was it a lot of like done on like MacBooks or like PCs?
Oh my God, I had this terrible Acer computer that was so garbage, but man, and the worst part is the first one was so bad, it was like $100. It was like nothing that my mom got me for Christmas, and I was making beats at my grandma's house, and I spilled water on the computer.
Oof.
And then that one was cooked. I couldn't make beats for like so long. And then I got another computer. It was another really bad Acer computer. And the CPU couldn't even really handle all the mixings. So you'd have to find ways around that. But at the time, I felt so blessed. And then I upgraded to a Mac. I upgraded to an Apollo. But to start, I always tell artists that are starting, there's like a Focusrite bundle that it comes with. It's like $400. And that's what it comes with is the most bang for your buck. It's like a microphone, headphones, interface, and all you need is the computer and then a program, and you can get free programs. And I'm like telling artists, it's like if you really want to invest in your craft and you're serious and like you have a budget, that's the best way to start. Because I didn't even know that, and early on I would have bought that, and then if you don't like the mic, Rode NT1A, that mic is way too good for what it costs.
Yeah. Like
it's like $200, and I get recordings sometimes that sound like you couldn't tell that it's
done on a mic like that.
Yeah, you could be like, oh, it's a Newman or
So you talk about your interest in music. Was the production side always that interest, or did that change over time?
No, it was. I started as a writer, actually. I wanted to write. I wanted to be an artist, and it was a lot. I had older homies around me that were making music that, I just looked up to them and just thought, I was like, oh, that's so sick, and I wanted to do it. So they would all write and rap and stuff. So I was like, fuck it, I'll write too. And that's where it started. I'm a better writer than people know. Right. There's a lot of songs that I've worked on that I've actually helped do some writing on.
Right.
But if I had to list what I like doing the most is engineering, writing, then producing. But it started as writing.
Okay. That
was my main interest. And then engineering just slowly, I liked that it was so challenging to start. There was I remember I'd sit up late night, hours on end. I would sit there and write in this notebook and think of ways vocal chains should be. I would sit there for hours and be like, if I put the de-esser here and the compressor here and then do the I would just make this long thing of signal flow and be and just sit there and try and test. And that's the worst way to do it. Don't do that. That's so bad. But yeah, I was so interested in the problem solving side of it, figuring out, because it's almost like a little puzzle, the way that all the components interact with each other, and that it's gonna click. When it's right, and you'll know instantly, and you'll get a reaction from people in the room, and it just sounds the best.
Right.
That's what was the most interesting to me.
So when you were going through all this, was there a specific moment where you're like, oh, okay, this is like getting real, like I'm starting to actually like get in rooms with people, or like was there an artist or someone that you worked with that kind of like was like that, oh, okay, like this is actually starting to get serious, I can work with this.
Yeah. Um, when I started interning at the studio, wasn't really interning. They just threw me in the fire, and I was ready to go already. I was just battle ready, so
Right.
it wasn't really anything. But when I started at the studio, there was like people that were coming in that like you. It was just such a good change of pace of like being in the studio around people that like want to be musical and like are super interested in music and all these different like perspectives and stuff. That was like, wow, now this is it. And now it's like I have days where I wake up and I'm like, wow, I'm really fucking lucky. But yeah, I kind of just got thrown in, and it just,
Was that a big learning curve?
not at all.
No.
No, because
Yeah.
Nathan, when I came to the studio, I just came to look at stuff. It was like a little event thing he was hosting. It was like a mixer event, and I just wanted to like look around and look at the equipment, because there was the plugins are based on like the real analog gear, and he had the real analog gear.
Right.
And I like went in the room and I'm naming everything, and I'm like, and he's like, wow, you know like a lot more than like the average person. And he's like, you should like come around, like start working here. And I was like, okay. And then like first day I came in, we like gelled so well together. Like our personalities mixed really well together, our sense of humors, and like just our workflows, everything worked really well. So it like aligned really well. Like there's a big engineer that always says like he talks about like the best way to get into rooms is just be likable. And that's like that is really important.
Yeah, it's like just be a dude.
Yeah, literally
like,
just be
yeah,
fun.
Just be able to chill.
Yeah, that is literally the best advice.
Do you think that's almost like with any sort of like business encounter anywhere? It's like, yo, you just gotta like, don't be fucking weird.
Yes.
Like, don't be.
No, 100%. Being likable is the best skill ever. Like, there's a book. It's How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
And that is like it doesn't matter where you are in life. Read that book.
Yeah.
It will help you in everything. Like, because there's so many little psychological things that people don't pay attention to in a day, where like people like to talk about themselves. Like, if you just smile and like interact, like, oh, I actually care, no matter what, people will like you. Because you're just, they need
people,
that.
And people want, like people are interested in themselves. So if you start feeding them questions that get them going, it's like you start to get like these credibility, like you start to stack your chips where it's like, oh, now I know a little bit about them.
Yeah.
Now like I'm starting to establish this like bond with them. And then on top of that too, it's really interesting because it's like, now you're in like a professional like setting where it's probably helping with like your relationship with NATO, and like but it's interesting on how simple it is to actually like get your way in there, and then it's like one of those things where it's like, well, now I'm here, I kind of have to prove myself.
That's the thing, is like it's simple, but it's not, because what really got me started was how much I knew about everything.
Right.
That's what really showed, because it was very niche things that I would be like, that I knew about. And, but when you're in the room, being normal and being like someone that's likable is like the most important part.
Through this time, was there any moments where you got like starstruck?
No,
like, do you have a lot of time with, like, especially when you look at, like, the more, like, bigger artists, do you have a little bit more time with them than you think? Or is it more of, like, they come in, they rip it for a few hours, and then they're out? Like,
basically, Nathan.
Yeah.
He downplays everything, so it'll be so cool to me, and to him, he's like, oh, I already done that 3 times. So then it kind of, like, I'm just, like, sitting there, like, I can't really be that, like, I'm not as excited, because it's like,
Well, it gets corny.
Yeah, you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
it is what it is. Kind
Unfortunately, as much as you want to be a fan.
Yeah, you're just like,
They're
and even then,
expecting-
no one wants that. Like
No.
when you're at that level, they want to just come in and just chill and just get their work done. Because you got to think about it like this is work.
Yeah.
Like I treat another big thing is don't treat everyone the same. No matter fucking what, treat everyone the same. The biggest artist has to be treated the same as the smallest artist because you never know, things can flip. And even then, it's just like treat people how you want to be treated. Always be respectful to like every artist and just try your best to just be nice to people.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I'm an asshole is if someone's like blatantly like coming off like an asshole. I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm not. And even then, I try and be nice.
Yeah. It's interesting because, like, with what you know, is there ever times when you have, like, new artists where you almost have to, like, manage expectations where, like, they kind of come in and they're like, yo, I want this, and you're like,
all the time.
You're like, that's not really... And how do you do that? Because you talk about, like, remaining professional, or even, like, how do you, when it comes to bigger artists, it's like the notion that you almost like shut the fuck up and do your job.
Yeah.
And like, you know, so how do you like blend that to make sure that you're still like getting the product that you want and treating people the same way?
I give a lot of the younger, less experienced artists a lot more advice every time. I always am like really willing to just be like, okay, you know, because you see the stages of it all. Like I've seen, you see how an artist develops through the whole way, especially when you do it lots. So it's like I tell artists, I'm like, okay, like a big thing I always tell them is like, I can't make you sound like anyone because your voice is only your voice.
Right.
Your voice is not any artist that you like. Your voice isn't that voice. I can make you sound really good.
Yeah.
But that has
like
a
if
ceiling.
you're ass, like you're
Exactly.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a ceiling to
Yeah.
that. And like my favorite question is, can you make my voice sound deeper? And I'm like if you didn't take the take with a deep voice, how am I just gonna make you sound deeper?
Well, do people think it's some type of like auto-tune thing?
So I think that sometimes it's so funny when people get humbled.
Yeah, they're
That's
like, I
the
want to sound
funniest
like
part.
Pop Smoke. And
Yes,
you're
and I'm like, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, I want to sound like Pop Smoke, and then bring in a beat and have like it's written in a whole different style. Their voice is it's a whole octave high. You're like, it's not realistic.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell artists like, find your niche and like find a collective of your favorite artists, and then blend that and make your sound like through that. Like you're not gonna just like. It's very rare when an artist just steps in the booth and is like just a polished, ready to go artist.
Yeah.
Like that is so rare.
Well, do you think that people... So I was just listening to this interview with Trevor Wallace. He's a comedian.
Yeah.
And he says, like, your first few years, you're going on stage trying to, like, impersonate someone that you idolize.
Yeah.
And then, like, over time, you start to figure out, like, what works for you and what not. And it's like... he's like, I can't be Bill Burr because like I'm not from Boston, like I'm not, but I can take certain things and
100%.
but it takes, but people go in with this idea that they're going to imitate a certain person.
The biggest thing, and actually what you're talking about is, and this is what I was talking about of like music is such a roller coaster where like the biggest thing about music is your palate and your taste. It's literally like, I can tell if an artist is going to be good by how they're dressed when they walk in. Because I'm like, okay, if your taste is good in clothes and stuff, which, like, that is a subjective thing, but you can kind of tell in a general sense when someone's like, okay, they look like they... I can almost guess what type of music someone's going to make by just how they're looking dressed.
That's hilarious.
So when someone comes in and I'm like, oh, they're wearing... okay, I know what this is going to be.
Yeah.
And
like this guy's going to do some drill shit. This
Yeah,
guy's gonna
100%.
do, like, I kind of already know. That's really interesting. And can you kind of project like, oh, like this person is probably going to do decent, or this person's going to get booked for gigs, or like
100%.
Yeah.
You can tell because the second thing that I look at is their demeanor and like how they carry themselves. That is also really important because you can tell by their attitude and how they take criticism, things like that. You're like, okay, is this guy going to go far or not go far?
Yeah, because if he's a little bit of a doink,
Yeah.
then you're like, you're gonna piss like promoters off.
Yeah.
And like I can already see it.
Yeah, and like we said, it's just being likable. There's like a middle ground of like, okay, I know I can do better and I need to ask questions to know I can do better, but also don't be annoying.
Yeah.
Don't be a fucking
Don't be a weirdo.
Yeah. Don't be sitting over the shoulder like, oh bro, oh my god, don't. It's like, dude, chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to be excited, but like at a certain point it's like it's a lot.
Do a lot of people come in with their own beats, or do they like rely on you heavily to help with like that craft of it?
No, I think it's always mostly they come in with their own stuff. It's a lot of the time the most I help on is the writing, because I think the biggest thing artists don't understand is like rhythm, writing in fours, counting syllables, and a big thing I could tell with newer artists is it's written like a big paragraph instead of like breaking it up
into
like,
your bars, and making a good 16.
Yeah, it's like just this huge fucking paragraph. Like it's like, and then I look at that and I'm like, how are you, like, this is gonna fuck you up when you're trying to rap, because it's written so poorly. And then a lot of guys come in and they try and like, they're nervous, so they try and like counteract that by being like super confident and like, I'm gonna one take this whole thing. And I'm like, you don't have to. I don't care. It's not like gonna make a difference. I just want the best take. Like I just care about it sounding really good. I don't care that no one knows if you did it in one take or not.
Yeah,
that doesn't
matter.
change if the song is gonna be better or worse. It doesn't change that.
Is there a level of experience that like someone should have? Like, should they be doing a lot of writing on their own? Like, when should someone take the leap to actually like book studio time?
I think if you booked 1 hour and just came in and asked questions for some guidance, like, and that's I'm open to you being annoying during that. Ask as many questions, because I think a lot of people start and don't even know where to start. And
they don't know where to go.
Where they're like, they'll come in and it's not practiced, and like the bars are half written, they have half a song, and they're like, oh well. And it just like, you get a better expectation of like the whole industry just like taking 1 hour and just trying. Right. Because then you'll be like, okay, this is someone that's been around a lot of artists and they can help me gauge like how to really do this.
Right.
Like I think I've given a lot of people more direction for their careers than like anything else.
Yeah.
Like definitely just like a lot of direction.
And what have you learned from like the bigger artists that you interacted with? Because it's almost like that you're in like the middle of the pack, where it's like you're able to kind of like influence and give like your nuggets of information. But like, what do you learn from like the bigger names that you interact with?
The bigger names, and this is something that like, especially the guys that have lots of experience, like been in it for a long time, they know what it is. Like they know what they're doing. They come in and it's like, you don't have to walk them through anything. Everything's prepared.
Yeah, this is like their 100th studio.
Yeah,
like they're like
million. They've been doing. They do this. This might be the 100th this month.
Yeah.
Like it's like, it's you just, the biggest thing is making artists comfortable, and like that's it, because they can tell if someone like me is a weirdo, and it's like, if you're a weirdo, they don't want to be around.
Do you think those names have the power to like kick dudes out of like
100%?
They're like, get this guy out of here.
Oh, 100%. We when there's a bigger guy that comes in the studio, like you can't book session, because there's 2 rooms. You can't book other like sessions, because it's like we can't have guys coming in there fanning out, being like, oh my god, it's this guy, yada yada yada. So we just leave it. So it's like, okay, like this guy gets the whole thing to himself, especially because it's harder. Like a lot of bigger artists don't come to Edmonton. So it's like, you got to make the experience really good, like,
right, to make them want to come back.
Yeah, like a lot of it is getting sent things, because no one wants to come to Edmonton. It's the same way, like it's like people like The Weeknd, let's say. Yeah. They'll be like, oh, I'm gonna spend a month in Toronto to finish my album. No one's saying, oh, I'm gonna spend a month in Edmonton to go finish my album. Fuck no. No one wants to be here.
Yeah.
It's not. There's like, it's nice in the summer, but realistically, it's like no one actually wants to be here.
Right.
But the bigger artists, you can tell, very confident and like they know the drill.
Right. And you almost have to just like follow their lead.
Yeah, definitely. It's the same way like an NBA player would warm up. Like they've done this a million times. They know how they're gonna warm up.
Right.
It's not new to them. They're gonna take their 100 jump shots and do XYZ because that's how they get in their flow state.
Right.
So these guys have already like, they come in and they're not like, they don't ask stupid questions like, oh, can you nudge this over one little second?
They just kind of know that you're gonna do it.
Yeah, they're like, they just know what it is.
Right.
Like but it's a lot of personality things too. You can like in the personality, it's like, I think that with a lot of the big artists, you can tell a lot of them have a lot of the same like characteristics, and I feel like that's what takes them to that level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting because you kind of have to have this like attitude. Get down, dog. You have to have this attitude where it's like, yo, I'm treating people the same way, but I also understand, like, I'm reading the room and understanding like what someone needs from me. Like, someone might need a little bit more.
Reading the room.
Yeah.
That is the most important. There's engineering is like, that is one of the harder things. Like, that's just as important as making it sound good. And
Right.
people don't realize that is like, it almost is more draining just like being around the people and trying to make sure everything goes well and coordinating it like that than just the like mixing and record and all that. It's actually can be more difficult to just enter, like, make sure all the people are, everyone's okay and everything's going good.
Yeah. So when you look at like the day in the life of like a producer, like what would you say your like main tasks are, or like what kind of like, again, it's probably different day to day or what you're working on.
Every day is different. There's days where I wake up at 2 p.m. There's days where I wake up at 8 a.m. and I just take the day for what it is. Like, I'll just write down things that I need to do, and sometimes you just wake up and you're just like, fuck this, I'm not gonna do it. But most of the time it's like I just wake up, kind of just, I want to start my day just listening to some music, like just something really chill that just sounds really good, just to like kind of gauge, just get my ears ready.
Right.
And then, just little stuff. Like, I kind of wake up and try and get grounded, like go to the gym, walk the dog, simple things, take my vitamin, little things like that, and then just start the day. But it just depends on the pace of the day, like what I have to do, like if I have tons of stuff to do. But most of the time it's just like wake up, mix, make a couple loops, make a couple beats, send it off, go to the studio.
Are you often like sending your beats to artists, or are they coming to you?
I don't like sending just like random beats off, because then it's like, I don't know if it's getting used for sure, this, that, or the other. I'd rather like have a personal conversation with the artist and be like, okay, what are you looking for? Like, what are we
right,
doing
and then
right
like
now?
curate it to what they're looking for.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't want to just guess, and then it's just like I just wasted my time, even though you not really, because then you can use
and you're not getting the best product out.
Yeah,
you're kind of just like scrapping it up, and then all of a sudden, this fucking dog, man, he wants this toy.
No, I know, he's so into it.
Here, dog, get fucked. Yeah, it's interesting because you're almost like, I don't want to just like throw it out there, because then it's just like the average beat.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing though, is I was telling this to an artist yesterday I was recording. I'm like, you can't, if I tell you it's good and your friends tell you it's good, that doesn't make it good. Like, realistically, if you believe in it and you think it can do something, it can do something. It's not going to just like don't take the validation of like people that are gonna probably tell you it's good. Go put it out and see. Like, go really like test the waters.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. I can make a beat, send it to someone, like even like Goosebumps by Travis Scott.
Right.
Okay, that beat was sent out to like 9 different artists
right.
before it got to Travis Scott. Now look at how big that song is.
Right.
I always tell people, I'm like, if Drake were to get on the beat, he can make it a hit. But like that just, it's just the gauge of it.
Yeah.
It's like, he knows how to make a hit, but that's to him, and he has really good taste.
Was there any like producers and stuff that you kind of tried to learn from, like when you look at like The Alchemist or like something like that? Was there like a certain taste that you had in mind, or like a certain genre that you were like, okay, I want to do like more acoustics, or I want to do more drill beats, or I want to try to get in like this BPM, or
Oh my, R&B.
Yeah.
R&B. When I started like really like, there was like songs and music that I really like loved. It was in like Bryson Tiller,
Mm-hmm.
Trap Soul, that era. Like I've probably listened to Trap Soul 10,000 times, and then Tory Lane's Chicks tape, and that R&B, like that phase of music. That's where I really started, was that, and that Drake kind of era. Um, so that was like really what I wanted to do, was that sound. So I feel like I feel like it's harder to make R&B music. What? Yeah, it is definitely harder to make R&B music than just like rap music. So I feel like that helped me like learn how to write really good, because I feel like, well, realistically, it's really easy to make bad music.
Mm.
Like just in general, like it's really easy to write very mediocre bars and like make a very mediocre song and it not do anything. So I don't know, but R&B was the pocket that I started in, for sure.
Yeah.
I really liked Bryson Tiller. Bryson Tiller was like
The guy.
the biggest
Yeah.
influence.
Yeah, that's interesting. And what's funny about him is he never wanted to, like, he just wanted to be like a ghostwriter.
Yeah, he
And
didn't even really want to do.
And he's like, if I didn't make the money I made, then like if ghostwriting would pay, then I would like. And I guess it depends on what circles you're around and who you're doing it for.
Yeah.
But he's like, if I could make money not performing and doing this and that.
That was always like something I looked at too, where it's like I would rather be like a ghostwriter, like a Benny Blanco, and just like claim royalties for the rest of my life and never have to do shit.
Yeah.
Because that would be way.
You almost
easier.
have to be in like a certain, like, I feel like spots like that, you almost have to like be like, okay, I'm gonna go live in LA
Yes.
and like basically like sit outside of studios forever and
Yeah.
like try to get in the, because it's so like they have their people, you know what I mean, and like
Yeah.
to get in that circle is so hard that you almost have to like be like, all right, this is like my only like.
Yeah, there's an engineer. His name's Jesse. What's it? Jesse. Oh my god, his last name's weird. Anyways, he started in LA. He's like Burna Boy's engineer,
Right.
and he when he went to LA to start, he would tape his resume to the inside of donut boxes and be a donut delivery guy, and then go to studios and deliver donuts, and they'd open the box, and then
They see his resume.
and he apparently he got a job from that. I don't know how true that is, but
Yeah, that's crazy.
fuck it, you know.
Yeah.
If that happens, fuck it.
Yeah, that's crazy. And you see something like that, and you're like, oh man, I like.
Yeah, your resume must be fucking good.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna
yeah.
lie, cause
And it takes some balls to be doing that. Yeah, that's really interesting on how like hard it is to actually like get into the music game, and then like, and that kind of speaks to like you getting into like Up in Arms Studio and like kind of getting around like the real thing. Now, where like in terms of a producer's career, like where's the ceiling, or where do you how does that look for like someone that's like producing and engineering? Like, do they have like a home base and they can go do it everywhere that they want to, or is it kind of like you just kind of glow up from Up in Arms and then like you stay there forever? And you know,
I think it's different for everyone, and it's also different for what you want in your career, because I'm sure there's lots of people that have never left their house and like not been to a studio ever and made millions from
Right.
this, like just sending beats out and like, you know, just
and then claiming royalties.
yeah, like there's a producer, I forget what it, holy fuck, I'm bad with names.
That's all right.
He's this Asian kid who he does like Money Man and like Lil Baby, and I don't know how often he's at studios or whatever, but he posts up in his home studio and he's getting he gets tons of work through that. So, you know, I don't know. You probably don't have to like, realistically, there's no guideline to like to this shit. Like you're not gonna one person, there's a million ways to do it. You can literally, like, it can work. What works for me might not work for you, but like, I wouldn't tell you like, oh, go to apply to every studio you can, because to be real, when I dropped out of high school and everyone's like, what are you gonna do, what are you gonna do, I was like, I made this plan. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna work at a studio, I'm gonna intern in a studio and do all this. So then I'm sending out resumes being like, oh, I can do this, sending out my demos, like trying to get, I got ignored so much. I got ignored by Nathan. I got ignored by Nathan, and then when he met me, he's like, damn, you're actually like cool and like, you know what you're doing, it's all good.
Right.
But like, don't expect to get an opportunity like just out of nowhere, like knowing something. Like, no one owes you shit. You're not gonna just get an opportunity.
Yeah.
Being honest.
Through this whole journey, was there any like critique that you got that kind of like stuck with you and like helped you, or like kind of like in the back of your mind where you're like, oh, this person told me this or this, and like it kind of hit me in the ego, but I also like use it every day now?
Tons of stuff. I feel like I still get criticism that I'm like, because music is so subjective that someone's taste is going to be different than mine. So I could really like how vocals sound, and I've mixed songs where I would send it back to them and I'm like, oh, that sounds amazing, like that sounds perfect, and then they don't end up using it and I'm like, damn, what the fuck, like,
yeah,
it was. And then I'll hear the version they used and I'm
you're like, oh, that's ass.
I'm like, really, we're doing that?
Yeah.
But that's why it's subjective, and you can't take it to heart. In the same way I was talking about, like, I could say it's really good, you could say it's really good, and then it could drop and it could be fucking terrible. Or it could be the opposite. We could say it's ass, it drops, and it goes. So you don't know how anything's gonna do. Like, you can't project anything. Like, seriously. So don't take anything personal. Like, I think the biggest thing is that I've learned is try not to have an ego with any of this. Like, don't be taking anything personal. And like, especially if you reach out to someone and then they ghost you or something, don't like look at it like, oh, fuck that guy, he's a piece of shit.
It's like, that's 9 out of 10.
Yeah. That's gonna happen all the time.
But it's, I think the idea that like you almost just got to be relentless and be like, yo, like eventually people are gonna see, it's gonna be fine, I'm gonna do my thing, and then people will circle back. What do you think is one of like the hardest things to teach like up and coming producers or artists?
There's tons of little things. I don't think it's one specific thing, because everyone kind of, like, what I've learned, everyone when it comes to music like shines through at one thing, and it's almost like one of those games where you like upgrade all your stats, like 2K or something, where it's like, oh, you could be really good at this one thing and like everything else is kind of like lackluster. Like, but it's just training your ears is the most important thing. Training your ears to know what sounds good and being adaptable to that. Like, your ears are literally the most important thing, because it's like with anything, it's like, you know, when people are like, it's not the tools, it's who's using them. That's really true, and your ears are your most important tool. So like, really learn how to use them, really learn like what sounds good, like through multiple things, because like, you could mix it at home and it could sound fucking perfect, but perfect to you. You could reference it to your favorite song and then you're like, damn, I'm missing all these frequencies, the vocals could be more compressed, my master chain fucking blows, all these things. And like, it's good to have that reference point. Like, referencing, when I started, I didn't realize how important, like, okay, this song sounds like this really big industry song, so I should really pay attention to how to make this sound like this industry song. And if I can get it close enough, that's really good. That's a really good learning, like, you know?
Right.
Because then it's like, it's the same thing with producing. It's like, if I was trying to tell a producer, like, if they were like, oh, I really like these songs, I'd be like, go remake those songs then. And you'll learn how they did those things that you like. And now you can have that in your tool set to use that whenever. Right. Like, that's the same thing with engineering. It's the same thing with anything. Just try and reverse engineer it, and then you'll learn. And then find out, like, oh, they did this. Oh, they did that. And
when you look at like the art of everything, is having that like upgraded equipment or professional setting, do you find that like it
No.
like elevates people? No.
No.
Because a lot of times people come in and if they're like, if they already don't really know what they're doing, it's like it's not going to make it's same with me. Like I tried to explain to people like, oh, why don't you get this and that? It's like, yo, there's no point in me getting 4K cinema cameras and all this bullshit if like I don't know how to fucking use it.
Exactly.
Like I don't know how to configure it properly. I don't know how the white balance works. I don't know how the contrast and this, and I don't want to be using like Pro Tools and shit like that. Like I just don't know.
Yeah.
So it's like I could dump all this money into trying to figure it out. It's like, but I'd rather be on like a steady incline of like, okay, I'm learning how to do that. Okay, I'm learning how like the audio, I got to get like minus 20 decibels. And like, this is how like the average podcast, like this is how to compress audio. Okay, these are how you do camera angles. It's like, then you start like upgrading things as you go. But I find like that's something like a lot of people don't consider, where it's like, yo, you can't just like go into something like this and be like, oh, I was just like recording it on like a DJI mic and like outside and it's windy and fucking whatever, and now I'm gonna go and like record in like a professional setup.
Yeah.
It's like, first you're goofy.
Yeah.
Because you come in and people are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, there's sometimes people will play me their like demos, like BandLab demos, and they'll be like, oh, what do you think? And I'm like, well, like there's not much here. Like you're coming to me to fix this, and like you're gonna probably redo the whole thing. I have a gauge of kind of like where you wanted to go with it, but it's not like, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like,
is there a lot of times you have to just like start from scratch with people, where like you hear what they're doing and you're like, yo, we gotta, like, we can do this, but like what you got is like not fixable.
A lot of the time, I always tell people, I'm just like, I want you to do it. Like, whatever you have written, all that shit, I want you to do it so you figure out that it's wrong.
Right.
And you realize, because if I tell someone it's wrong and a lot of people come in with ego, they're going to be like, what does this guy fucking know?
Right.
You know, they're going to be like, fuck this guy. He just wants to be an asshole. And then that's why I just don't even say anything until they actually ask and be like, okay, can you help me? And I'm like, okay, yes, you know? You were like, a lot of people set themselves up for failure but don't even know it, and then it's like they do it and I'm like, okay, I knew that wasn't gonna work, but I wanted you to try it so you know why it doesn't work, because then I'll explain and be like, okay, well, that had 8 too many syllables. There was no fucking way that bar was gonna fit, and of course it's gonna fall off beat.
Is there one thing that people like ignore the most? Like when you look at like new up and coming artists, is there something where like you're always seeing like, oh, they didn't do this?
Practice. Like, you can tell when someone they practice the song like 10 times and like they've gotten all the takes ready to go, instead of someone that's like just comes in, it's basically all freestyled, and you can tell it's all freestyled. And some people are really good at that, but for the most part, it's always better to just practice your fucking takes, have everything ready, like get rid of anything, like any room for error, get rid of it, and just practice, and you'll be ready. You know what I mean? Like, the more reps you put in, the more ready you're gonna be. So just practice, get your takes down, do it as many times, do it.
Is there like when you look at up and coming artists, is there like do you ever like coach them on like how long their song should be, or like what their runtime is? Like, yeah, you probably have the stamina for like 2 minutes. Or like it kind of just depends on what they want.
I'll tell them like, okay, I think this will have the most replay value. I'll tell them that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, at the end of the day, it's your song.
Because you look at like Big X the Plug. Like, this guy doesn't have long songs.
No.
Like, every song this guy makes is like 90 seconds. Like,
and that's good for replay value.
Yeah.
You're gonna go platinum really fucking quick.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's what does the song call for? Does it need to be really long? Is it very like, does it have a story, or like, you know, like what does the song need? Does it need 4 fucking hooks? Does it need really long verse where you over explain yourself? Does it need a really short verse, or like, do you have a pre-chorus? It's really is the intro really long? Do we need to cut that down? Is the outro really long? It's a little things like where, okay, because you can listen to a song, and I think a lot of artists like kind of get blinded by their own art where they don't really like even listen to it to like they're so happy that they have a product that they like where I'll
But they
mix
just
it.
want to send it out.
Well, yeah, they're like, oh, it's perfect, and I'm like, why don't you listen to it and like play it for some people that are unbiased and like let them tell you where they get unengaged.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, this part I would probably turn it off right here. Like, I'm
Do you think that's hard for a lot of people though? Because like that's even for me, like I'll record episodes, I'll listen, I'll like cut through. Like my tell of whether or not an episode is good is I'll go through to the raw footage, I'll click 10 random spots. If my guest is talking more than I'm talking, I did a good job.
Yeah.
But that's like, but for me, I always find that if I do it too much, I start over analyzing things and going, is like the audio sync work? Is this? And then like I'm tinkering too much, and now it's fucked. Like I fucked it so much because like I've overthought everything. And then it's like, is there a happy medium of like you can like some people come in and you're like, all right, now you're doing too much.
Oh, I'll tell, and that's the thing. I'm super honest because. And I always tell artists, I'm like, it's your fucking song. Do whatever the fuck you want with it.
Right.
But in my opinion, I would do this.
Right.
And if you don't want to do that, that's totally cool. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know, do what you want to do. I'll do exactly. You're paying for the time.
Exactly.
If you,
yeah.
If you want to do it this way, if you want me to
Perfect.
delete the whole fucking song, sure.
But it's like you kind of have an idea of like I'm pretty confident it's not gonna.
Yes,
do
and
good.
I'll tell them. I'll be like, are you sure? Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's probably not gonna work. Like, I'm gonna be real.
Was that something you had to learn, like to get better at, like even like the delivery of something like that, of being like, how do I do this without sounding like a dick or like I have this ego, or like coming in of like, no, I know that this isn't gonna be platinum, and you kind of have to like deliver that in a way where you're like, hey man, like I trust your vision, but like just based on my experience.
Yeah. Oh, and I think that like the best way to make art is like mutual respect. Like make sure like. I think that some artists don't understand that, like, you want to have a good relationship with your engineer. This is someone that if you treat them well, they're going to treat you well. They don't want, like, there's guys that come in and they're an asshole to me, and I'm like, why would I want to make you sound good? Why would I, like, and I'm gonna, but, like, am I going to put the max effort?
Yeah.
Like, think if a guy is really nice to you, you're like, damn, I want to do a good job for this guy.
Yeah.
And if it's like, if you're coming in being rude, being demanding, I'm going to do the job, but maybe I'm not going to do it to the best of my abilities because you want to be a dickhead.
Yeah.
If you treat me respectful and you're like I don't really give a fuck about how, like, you can pay the standard rate, no tip, anything like that. As long as you're respectful and nice, that's all I want. I don't want someone to come in and be like, I'm a big shot, I got all this money, yada, yada, yada. It's like, bro, I don't really give a fuck about any of that. You should eliminate that as soon as you walk in this bitch.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's the same. We're all making art. Like I said,
because it's ruining the music.
Yeah, exactly. You don't get in the way of the music.
Yeah.
Because like, if you do too much and I need to add this 8 extra. That's another thing when people I need to add these 8 extra bars because they're so fucking hard. It's like, then why didn't you write it in like to be, you know what I mean? Like, why didn't you structure the song around the really hard 8 bars? Why didn't you like why?
Wouldn't that be like the mainstay of your whole song?
Exactly. Like, that's what I mean by the practice and getting everything right. And like, there's some people I could tell I'm like, the worst part is there's artists that I meet all the time that I'm like, holy fuck, you could probably do this. You could probably go. But there's things of like a lack of consistency and like the cover art might not be, because all that little nuanced things that people don't notice, that shit matters. Like, there's a reason why, like, when people want to get signed to a label, because a label can help really get you to that next level because they have a whole team of these super elite professionals that understand like all the psychology behind like, this is gonna go because we did the cover this certain way. And you know, it's not just like your shitty team from your hometown. Like, having like that label team is why those big ass artists are big ass artists.
How do labels interact with like producers and stuff? When it comes to a label, do they like basically have like their short list of people that they want artists to work with, or do artists still have like the luxury of going to who they
I think
want.
it depends on your deal.
Yeah.
It depends on your deal. There's some, I think some artist deals where it's kind of just like will give you the artist. Well, because you got to think there's ghostwriters that are making full songs that like a girl like Tate McRae or like Sabrina Carpenter, like they had no interaction with the song other than fucking singing on the song.
Yeah.
So it's like the label is orchestrating everything down to like
And you're just the
very
talking
T.
head.
Yeah, and you're just the talking head that's like pretty or
That's-
whatever.
That's crazy. Now, when you look at like making this into a career, like where do you think engineers and like producers make the most money? Is it studio time? And like, do you guys get linked up with like artists where you're like, okay, like that's this studio's artist, or like kind of we have like a long term kind of like
Yeah,
gentleman's agreement?
kind of. Yeah, a gentleman's agreement is the best way to say it. Like where it's like just like a kind of like this mutual boundary, where it's kind of like I don't want to fuck anyone over. Like you kind of want to keep like you want to be respectful because
Right.
like that's yours kind of thing. But at the same time, like if it really comes down to it, it's like, what can you do?
Right.
Like everyone loses clients to competition. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Like you can't really be too offended or too hurt by it, and you just look at it like, what could I have done better? Like that's how you look at it.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's like I was just interviewing a therapist yesterday, and she says like sometimes like unfortunately like you got to shop around for shit.
Yeah.
You got to find out like what works for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
And like unfortunately like it might not have to do anything to do with you. Like some people just might want a dude that is like really honed in on this, or
Yeah.
is more professional or less professional, or
Yeah.
talks in this way,
100%.
or, you know. So it's interesting because you kind of have to leave the ego out of it and be like, yo, this is just business. Like
Oh,
this guy might just had a little bit of like culture, or like,
Yes.
you know, it could have just
Oh,
been
my-
something so different.
I like I look at it sometimes where I'm like I lose clients just because I'm white.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I know that.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like I'm not hurt about it. Like
No.
I've learned that the ego at the start where I lose clients and I'm like I'll be hurt by it and I'm like, oh God, I didn't do it right. And then I started to realize, like you said, it's like sometimes it's just shopping around. Like
Yeah.
and sometimes someone's less serious. They need someone with a more open schedule. Sometimes they need this, that, or the other. Maybe it's something I can't provide. That's okay.
Mhm.
And you gotta learn to just be like, whatever. I gotta hug that.
Yeah.
Like
Well, because if you start leaning into like what someone wants, it's like now you're like this, like trying to be different people,
Yeah.
and it's like then it turns into this like fucking, you know, mess where it's like, okay, well, we don't really know what your vibe is now because you're trying to do a little bit of this guy, a little bit of this guy, a little bit of
Yeah.
and now it's like you're almost scaring people off because they're like you and it's one of those things too where I think like the authenticity around it, where people can come and be like, I already know what I'm getting, like it is what it is.
Yeah.
And like that kind of is more refreshing than someone.
Yes, I think sometimes artists need.
Come here, Ralph.
I think some artists just need. Sometimes they just need to. Like, just. Like get a new perspective or just like something new, refreshing, something like that. It's nothing like, personal.
Mm-hmm.
But you just have to be okay with that, because a lot of the time I always tell my artists, and this isn't even to like have a big ego, I'm like, you can go try and record with whoever you want, that's fine, but I know what I am. Like,
Yeah.
You're not gonna find better. That's okay. And that's not even to be a dickhead. The amount of artists that come through to the studio and they're like, why do you still live in Edmonton? And I'm like, I don't even know, to be
Yeah.
totally honest with you. Like, I'm still figuring it out. But the amount of times they're like, why don't you live somewhere like LA or Toronto? And I'm like, fuck, I don't know yet. Like, I'm
Yeah.
still young, trying to
Figure
figure
out.
out my, like, you know, the game plan.
When an artist says make it bigger or make it darker, like what does that mean for a producer? Like when they go like make it this, make it that.
There's kind of like a little cheat sheet to like studio vocab. Like, oh, it sounds too boomy, or it sounds like there's too much, like it sounds muffled, or it sounds muddy. that like probably means like you got to fish out in the 300 hertz, or you didn't cut the low end enough, or you could low shelf the low frequencies a little more. And like you just have to like know what they mean by that. There's just little vocab words like, oh, it sounds too shiny.
It's like it's its own language.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like music is its own language in every sense, where especially with engineering, where and it's a taste thing too. Once again, where someone could like a vocal a little more muddy or a little more, something more in the mids, and I might not like that. Like you were saying earlier with the whole Trevor Wallace, like you have to develop your own palette and your sonic palette to be like, okay, I kind of like when I was started, I really liked this guy named Alex Toomey. He was the engineer for Young Thug and a couple other guys, and like the Atlanta, he did Nav, he did 21 Savage, and I loved how he talked about music. Like he had a podcast called like Do What Sounds Good, and that was like a big thing like I took in was like, yo, fuck it, if that shit sounds good, just roll with it. Like don't worry about anything other than it sounding good, and that's it. But I really like based my sound around his sound when I first started, but then my palette's obviously way more diverse now, and like that's with anything. But there's some little rare cases of people that just come in and they're just special. Like they know what it is.
And you're like, let them cook.
Yeah. Oh no, really? You just get out of the way and you know what it is.
That's great. Yeah, and those type of things, it's almost like refreshing because you do so much of this like, hey, you should do it this way, and I don't really know if you're gonna make it, and this and that, and then you have someone come in and you're like, this guy's dialed in. Like this guy knows what's up. Like I don't got to do shit. Like
the best guys they come in, they know what it is. They're respectful. They don't question the money at the end. They just give you the bread and they're just ready to go and they're just happy. Like a big thing is advice Nato gave me. Nathan, he said, the biggest and the best artists have the least amount of notes. Like you'll send them a song and you'll be like, oh, just let me know if you want me to change anything. That shit's already uploaded. They don't even listen. They're just like, they trust it. They know that you do a good job. They know what they do. They know the direction. They don't have to, there's no doubt.
Yeah, there's no like this like internal battle where they're like, did I do this right? What is this guy going to think? How is this? They're like, I already know, man. It's fine. And if it's not, like, we'll figure it out. And like, there's no ego involved.
And it's no ego, but the notes are so like, they're not critical. It's so simple. It's like, oh, this one thing, turn it down 1 dB and it's ready to go.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. And because they're so confident and there's no doubt in their process and they've like eliminated all the little like, they just know what it is.
I kind of talked about this off air, but I'm interested to know like where does like AI and like music generation and shit like this like in the landscape of like music production now? Is it harder for like just the everyday artist to like whip up a beat, or is it? And I bring this back to what's his name, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. They were talking about like AI with like movies and script writing, and he said like, you don't have to worry about it taking over people's jobs because like there's no human emotion involved. Like there's no like lived in, like he's like, if you rely heavily on it, like you can get these things to like make you beats and write you scripts, but like it's not going to be that good.
No.
And is there is there that level to like, oh, I can tell when it's like an AI beat and I can tell when it's like a beat that's like actually made?
You can tell when there's no human feel and there's no mistakes. I always tell artists, sometimes I have artists comes in and they're like, I messed up this one word, and I'll listen. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, you're just gonna waste your money and your time.
Yeah.
I'm like, it sounds fine and it sounds human. Like it's okay to have little mistakes, and even then, like that's the biggest thing about why I'm not concerned about AI is the lack of human emotion and the lack of just the mistakes and the human feel of it. Like my little sister was telling me about the new Stranger Things season. I haven't watched it yet, but she was saying that there was like potential about some like AI like was involved with the writing, and there was like Reddit leaks or some shit about that. And then she was telling me, she's like, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Like it didn't seem like as entertaining or like as thoughtful as the other seasons or this, that, and the other. And I think that correlates with everything. Like that AI is like. I was when it first came out, I was like, I'm done. This is it. I was like, it's cooked. Fucking cooked.
Yeah.
But then the more that I'm like, oh no, it's not as black and white as you think, because it's so there's so much little detail that like the human, like humans bring to it. But is it still scary? Yes. Like there's artists that are charting that aren't real.
Yeah, like Timberland's artist.
Yeah, and you're looking at this and it's like, what the fuck is this?
And yeah, that's the scary thing. And like when you look at being an artist and even being a producer, it's like, okay, when does this just get to a point where like the industry sides with it, and even though it's dog shit, it's like it's still favorable because it makes money or whatever it is.
And it obviously is always the money. Like labels, labels are businesses and they're organizations. There's huge companies. It's like a BlackRock or something like that. Like they don't give a fuck. They'll cut out all the like the fat and all that extra shit just to get right to the meat. The meat and the potatoes. They don't give a fuck about any of that extra. They just want the money and they just want to profit, and like realistically it makes sense. It's like, why take a chance on an artist that might not be, they see the money, they're not as committed now, this, that, and the other, when you can just make an artist that will just do exactly what you want.
Do a lot of producers get like signed to record labels, or is that like a separation?
No, I think they do, but it's in a way different way. I think it's more for like royalty splits and stuff like that. One more thing though, but back to the AI thing. I think one of the biggest things of why artists shouldn't be scared of AI going is people like seeing artists perform and live. Live is the big thing. I think I try and tell a lot of artists, like, make content that is vulnerable and shows like you're human and stuff like that, because people relate to that. People want to see live shows where it's like you can showcase your real talent, and that's what's going to make someone a real fan. If they can see that you can like play the guitar and you actually have a good natural singing voice, and it's not just like really like some oversaturated, like, okay, this guy's not good,
or shit that you can do in a controlled environment, but when it comes on stage,
exactly,
you just ask. Like, I ask a lot of artists that I interview, like, is your concern when you're recording music, like, one day I'm gonna have to perform this on stage?
I think I can tell you right now that should be their concern,
like,
because I'm hearing these raw takes and I'm like, I'm gonna make this sound really good, but when you have to do it live, that's you. And there is like
they have to have their limits where they're like, this ain't gonna translate well.
And there's in-house engineers at those like at the big events and stuff like that. But if you're a more up and coming artist, like,
and
you're not
at like
getting that whole
beer fest or
you're
like
not,
some stage somewhere.
Well, they're just like, those in-house engineers don't really give a fuck about how you sound when you show up to the sound check. They're like, oh, it's not clipping and there's no mic bleed.
All right, we're good.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm like. I'm more concerned about that. I hate going and watching my like smaller artists like perform, even though not in the sense of like I don't like watching them. It's I've watched them and I'm like, you can tell that the in-house engineer doesn't really give a fuck, and then you're like, I feel like they're getting like portrayed in a bad light because they don't like.
Yeah, someone's
it's not getting shown at their
making
full potential.
Yeah, that's interesting. When you look at like bringing on new artists, like, what does that onboarding process look like?
Oh, like more like a personal.
Do you like bring on like a lot of artists, or like how do you like establish that like you're gonna work, that it's not a one-off? Like, how do you know whether or not it's like, oh, I'm just helping this guy out for the day, and then it's like, oh, this is gonna be more of like a.
I come into it with really low expectations. I don't really like come into it with like a, fuck, I feel so tall right now.
No, good.
I don't come into it with really high expectations. I just come into it like every artist is different, and some artists come in waves. They'll come every 4 months, and you're not. There's some artists that come every week. It's like a barber. Some barbers they're getting haircuts. They're cutting the same guy every week of the month of the year. And then there's some guys that are like, okay, I'm going to get a haircut once a year and then just let it grow well, and then I'll just come back and get a haircut. And so I just take it for what it is. Some artists are going to be super involved with everything and really like check up on everything. And I like when they're a little more involved, and like you can tell that they're more attentive and be like, okay, I want this to do this, and stuff like that. The only time it really gets annoying is when they starting to ask for things they don't really know what they're asking for, and you're like, dude, what the fuck?
You're like, that's not even.
It's not realistic.
Yeah.
And that's when I'm just like, bro, give it up.
Yeah, because you're like, you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah,
like
it's like, okay, that like they'll give me a note, and I'm like, that doesn't even fucking. You just want to have an input. You want to feel like you're acknowledged, which is okay. That's okay. I understand what it is. I take it for what it is.
Yeah.
I kind of just have really low expectations with every artist coming in, and then it's like you just change that gauge as it like the relationship develops. It's like, okay, is this guy gonna be serious? Is this guy want to be like very close and like actually have a relationship with me, or is this kind of just like some bullshit?
Mm-hmm.
And it just takes time to see.
When you look at yourself over the course of like the next few years, like what do you want like your name to like represent, or like your brand?
I definitely want to stand on my own 2 feet a little more. Like do things away from the studio, like do more production stuff, and do some more like writing stuff. Maybe like take less focus away from the engineering thing, because I think engineering has the lowest ceiling from between like writing and producing and engineering. I think engineering has the lowest ceiling for what your career can be. And
like the creativity wise,
exactly.
It's like you're going in, you're tightening it up, and then you're getting.
And that's really all it is.
Right.
And it's like the thing about engineering is something can only sound so good.
Right.
Like and when you figure out like, okay, it sounds amazing, you can't really do much more to it. But producing and being creative, like there's a way bigger market for that, and it's way more creative. And same with writing. I'd really like to be in more rooms doing writing and doing more things like that, and just being more acknowledged for things like that.
Yeah.
That's really I'd like to try and tell people to like not have specific goals, but just kind of ballpark it to be like, okay, you should maybe want this many streams or this amount of money for the year or this, that, and the other. Don't like try and be like, I'm going to be the biggest artist in the world. And it's like, okay, well, sure, maybe. I'm not going to tell you no, but like be a little like set, direct, like, okay, it's going to be this much by this much, and I'm going to get it with this plan.
Right.
Like, but yeah, overall, goal-wise, just write more, do more production, try and do more stuff by myself, and just see where that takes me.
That's dope, man. That's amazing. I'm really happy to have this conversation with you. It opens up a lot of I think it gives a looking glass into like the other side of it and how kind of that is viewed, and I appreciate you coming on the show today.
Of course.
Where can people find you if they want to work with you?
Seriously Taylor on everything.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what it is.
Seriously Taylor. All right. Well, this has been an amazing interview. Any final words you want to say? Thanks for having me. Yeah. I appreciate you. And it's a big skill to do what you do. It really is. It's like we said earlier, I think a lot of people like to talk about themselves, and I think that it's a really good skill to ask questions to make people talk about themselves, and you do a good job about it. Thank you. Especially with how adaptable, doing a lot of different interviews. You do your research, and I appreciate you having me. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it too. With that concludes another episode of Solo Spotlight. If you enjoy conversations like this, hit us up, subscribe, like, put a comment below. It helps us get more guests and gain more reach to have conversations just like this. With that is the episode, and we'll see you next week for another one.